The Meddler is directed by Lawrence Scafaria and it stars Susan Sarandon along with Rose Byrne and J.K. Simmons, and is a very realistic take on a widowed woman that maybe gets in people's way a little bit too much and is a meddler, as the title of the movie suggests. The movie stars Susan Sarandon as this widowed woman that moves to California after her husband dies. She's from New York. She has a big New York accent that I loved. She was just so cute with her little accent. And she moves to California to be with her daughter, be close to her daughter at least. But her daughter exactly doesn't want much to do with her because she's dealing with the death of her father, and her mom is somewhat overbearing. She's always calling, she's always just bursting into her house, and she doesn't like that. Rose Byrne wants privacy, and she's going through a lot of work problems and breakups and all this stuff. So she wants her mom to be involved with other things. So her mom just goes on these other little activities that she does throughout the day, and then she ends up meeting J.K. Simmons, and things happen with that. And this thing with this movie is, it's so realistic. It's such a real take on this kind of situation. It felt a lot like, to me, like last year's The Intern with Robert De Niro, where he's a retired guy, he's widowed, and you know, he's just going through retirement, and he gets a little bit bored, and then he ends up getting a job, and you know, the movie happens or whatever. But in that movie, I felt like it was realistic, but it was a movie. You know, it was like, you know, he goes to job and then crazy situations happen and blah, blah, blah. And I really liked that movie. But this movie ended up being so realistic. Like, it's so realistic almost to a fault, because everything that's happening in the movie seems like something that would actually happen. Like, there's no real big plot to the movie. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, because for me, it's cool to see a movie that just, you could relate to everything that's happening, and you relate to the characters, and it's like, you're like, man, I know somebody like that. I've been in a situation like that. It's so cool to just see everyday life kind of stuff. But when you don't really get so much of a story and so much of a structure to it, when it's just everyday life, it ends up being a little bit boring. And that's what happens with this movie, is it kind of drags on a little bit. But it's just so fun to watch Susan Sarandon going around with her accent and just talking to people and interacting with people. And she's not annoying. She's just, you know, her daughter just is overwhelmed with her, you know. So to other people, she's not a meddler, but to Rose Byrne's character, because she's going through stuff, yeah, she comes off that way. But for me, I loved watching her, and I love watching her interact with people and just have conversations and meeting people. And she was just such a cute character, and she, like, I just related to her, and I just saw so many people that I know in her. And she was just a really fun person to watch, and you understood everything that she was going through. And it was, again, just so unbelievably realistic. Seriously, I've never seen anything this true to life. Just flat out, everything that happens in this movie I could actually see happening in real life. And it's weird to say, but it's like, it's the most realistic movie I've ever seen. But the thing is, it's really funny, it's really charming, it's a really nice, harmless movie to watch. It does get a little bit boring because there's not exactly too much of a plot. It's just her everyday life, you know, but you care about the characters. There's a lot of heart to it when she meets J.K. Simmons and that whole interaction. That I love them together. J.K. Simmons wasn't in it enough for me. I love him so much, and I love seeing him. I wish he was in it more, but he has a smaller role. Even Rose Byrne doesn't have too much to do in this. It's really mostly about Susan Sarandon just going around and you know, just being in everyday life. And it was a very enjoyable movie to watch. It's definitely maybe for a little bit older of a crowd, because maybe people that have been widowed or, you know, are getting older or retired or whatever, they might appreciate it a little bit more, so younger people may not like it as much. But I really enjoyed it. I loved watching it. I thought it was a fun movie to watch. It definitely dragged down a little bit, but it's an enjoyable movie that I definitely suggest. If you have a chance to see it, I suggest it. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed watching this movie. Hope you guys check it out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this and you want to see more reviews from a guy like me, Tom Waterloo, then please share this video, like it, and leave a comment down below, and most importantly, subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one.